Racket, squad. What you're about to see is a real-life story, taken from the files of the police racket and bunco squads, business protective associations, and similar sources all over the country. It is intended to expose the confidence game, the carefully worked-out frauds by which confidence men take more money each year from the American public than all the bank robbers and thugs with their violence.
Captain Braddock, ready.
Some of these frauds are petty, some are large. But the net result is the same. Make a sucker out of John Q. Public. Hit him in his pocketbook, or worse still, in his heart. Such as in the case of Babies for Sale. Sounds barbaric, doesn't it? By the time this particular case came to my attention, it was a tangled web of fraud, shakedowns, and broken hearts. I had barely arrived in my office one morning when a man named Ted Miller rushed in and...
Captain Braddock, my name is Ted Miller, and I've come here because I think I'm a victim of a shakedown. And if I am, so help me, if that dirty...
Now, hold on a moment. Suppose you sit down and tell me calmly what it's all about, huh?
I'm sorry. I didn't get much sleep last night with my wife hysterical half the night. Anyway, I'll try and give you the whole story. I'll have to go back a bit.
That's quite all right.
At least back to the shower the girls were giving my wife Joyce. It was the usual thing, all part of the fun when you're having a baby. The shower was over when I got home.
It was a wonderful party, Betty.
You received some beautiful presents, Joyce.
Isn't this cute? Lois gave it to me, and I hardly know her. Wasn't that sweet of her?
Hi, hon.
Hello, darling.
Well, look at all the loot.
Oh, Ted.
Well, that's the reason for these shindigs, isn't it? To see how much loot you can get? You see, bite? What's this?
Oh, it's a bottle warmer. You put the bottle in there, and it warms the baby's milk.
That's a handy gadget.
Yeah, especially at the 2 a.m. feeding.
2 a.m.? Who gets up at that hour?
You do. And my only regret is I won't be there. Come on, make yourself useful.
Looks like I already have.
I'll take these. Thanks for everything, Betty.
It's for my niece, isn't it?
Nephew.
5 will get you 10.
I'm going upstairs for a while. I'm a little tired.
Now, you be careful now.
Stop coddling me. I'm a big girl now. What am I saying?
Come on, you take the rest of the loot.
All right. Oh, I look like a pack horse?
Could be.
Joyce, call Dr. James.
Don't move her until the doctor comes.
Oh, Joyce, darling, you'll be all right. You've got to be.
You have to find Dr. James. It's an emergency.
Any news yet about my wife?
Dr. James is doing all he can. Why don't you sit down in the waiting room?
I gotta keep moving.
Who are you going to see, please?
Mr. Green, room 212.
No visitors.
Well, I'm his lawyer. I came to see him about the accident.
Oh, well, if you'll just wait until his doctor comes out.
Certainly.
Why don't you sit down?
All right.
You, having a baby?
Well, I... Dr. James.
Joyce is all right, Ted. She's out of danger.
Good.
But we couldn't save the baby. I did all I could.
Just so you saved Joyce. May I see her now?
In a moment. Ted, I have some bad news for you.
About Joyce? But you said that...
I said she'd live, and she will. But there can't be any more babies.
Does she know?
Not yet. I want her to get a little stronger first.
Poor kid. She had all those plans. That's all she's talked about for months was having her baby.
There's a way, Ted. And it should be done as quickly as possible. Adopt a baby.
Adopt one?
Yes, it's the best way to make Joyce a normal, healthy woman again. I recommend the County Bureau of Adoption when you're ready.
Whatever Joyce wants. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Ted was just about the unhappiest man in the world when he left Joyce's room. And a word of comfort from a stranger was welcome.
Oh, Mr. Miller. You know, the doctor is absolutely right. My wife and I have never regretted adopting our baby. And since then, I've helped many others.
What do you mean?
Private adoptions.
You know, going through the regular licensed agencies, oh, that requires a lot of time, red tape, and all that. But with private adoptions, you can have your baby just as soon as you want it.
Well, we don't know what we'll do, mister. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Of course. Gilpin is the name, and if I can be of any help to you...
Thank you very much, Mr. Gilbert. You've been very kind.
Leave it to Mr. Gilpin to make a careful note of Ted's name. This was a contact he didn't intend to drop too easily.
You understand, of course, it will take 1 year from the time you get your baby for the adoption to be final.
Yes, my husband and I read all the papers, but why should it take a year?
That's the state law, and it's for the protection of the baby as well as your own.
Have you any idea how long it will be?
It might take several months.
Several months?
Well, look, we could take a girl.
Of course, we'd love a little girl. After all, we might even have had...
Nobody ever wants to wait, but they do. And then they're glad.
Yes, I'm sure. Come on, honey. And thank you very much, Miss Chandler. We're very grateful for all your time.
That's what I'm here for. And Mrs. Miller, even nature sometimes takes years to send a baby, but it's worth waiting for.
Mrs. Chandler?
Yes?
It doesn't have to be a boy, really.
We want you to have your baby as soon as you can, so believe in us and give us enough time.
Of course we will. I'm sorry to call you so early, Dr. James, but it's about Joyce. She's having those sleepless nights again. Yes, she's taking them, but sedatives won't help much. It's that empty nursery. Well, I was wondering if there's anything you could do, you know, to hurry things along at the adoption agency. Yes, I see. Yes, I guess we'll just have to wait, but it's been months now. Yes, I'll suggest another checkup to Joyce. I'm sorry to have troubled you. Goodbye.
Who were you talking to?
A gorgeous redhead. But she turned me down. Can you imagine that?
Incredible. I almost wouldn't blame you if you did. I know I haven't been much fun these days.
Look, hon, you're my girl with or without laughs. But you've got to pull yourself together.
Ted, I try so hard, but I'm so lost all day. There's so much time to think.
You wait till we get our baby. Then you'll be busy, all right.
Wait, but it's been months. Maybe we'll never get it.
Oh, of course we will. But Miss Chandler said it would take time, remember?
But it doesn't have to. What about that lawyer you met at the hospital? He could help us. He told me he could the day he was nice enough to phone and inquire about me.
Dr. James advised us to go to the adoption agency. He should know.
I don't care what Dr. James advised. A baby's a baby, isn't it? Does it have to have a pedigree to make you happy? Oh, maybe I ought to forget the whole thing. I could get a job in an office or something to keep me busy for a while.
No, for the last time, that isn't the solution.
Then for heaven's sake, let's try something.
All right. I still have that lawyer's card. Here it is.
Hello? Well, how are you, Mr. Miller? How's the wife? I see. Well, this must be fate. I do know about a baby that's expected very shortly. Yes, the young mother's in a very unfortunate situation. She can't afford to support the baby. Oh, the mother's a fine, healthy girl. Well, you could have the baby 3 days after it's born.
He said we could have the baby 3 days after it's born.
Then tell him we want it.
Sounds all right with us, Mr. Gilpin. I see. We'll have to pay for the medical care.
That makes the baby seem all the more like ours.
All right, Mr. Gilpin, we'll pay the expenses.
Excellent, Mr. Miller. Of course, you realize there'll be a legal fee as well. Well, good. I'll arrange everything.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Mrs. Stanley Gilbert. Lila, your troubles are over. I found a fine young couple for your baby. Yes, of course I've investigated them. You'll be in my office in the morning and I'll arrange everything. But remember, you're not to discuss this with anyone or I won't go through with it for you. Very well. I'll see you in the morning. Goodbye. Sit right down here, Lila, and rest yourself.
Thank you. Mr. Gilbin, these people who want my baby, are you sure they're all right?
They're young and well-to-do. Want a baby desperately. Did you ask for anything else?
No, nothing. Unless it was to be able to keep my baby myself.
Lila, you must face reality. You came to the city to keep your family from knowing about you.
I know. But I was so frightened then. In these past couple of months, I keep wondering maybe if I told them they'd understand. Mother would, I'm sure.
Aren't you being selfish?
Selfish to want my own baby?
At the cost of your family standing in the community? And what about the baby? Doesn't it belong in a normal, happy household? With fine parents to love it?
Oh, I don't know. If only I could be sure of some kind of work after. Maybe I could support it myself.
Lila, you're young and pretty. This one mistake needn't ruin your life. Well, after this is over, you can go back home and marry that fine young man you told me about. Nobody need ever know. Oh, come now, Lila. Be a smart girl. Make a good life for yourself and your baby. By no time at all, this will all seem like a dream. Now, if you'll just sign this right here. Lila, think of your baby.
Baby had brought new happiness with each month that passed.
Hi, hon.
Oh, good, you remember.
Of course I did. Hi, big man.
Oh, honey. It's a beautiful playpen.
Once even got a pad. Nothing's too good for battling Jerry Miller.
If he's going to do any battling, it will be in a courtroom. Gerald's going to be a lawyer.
Well, sticking him in this thing all day long, he'll certainly know about cells when he grows up. If you ask me, I think it's a dirty trick to play on an unsuspecting kid.
But awfully good for Mama. Come on, young man. You're going to go to bed. Dinner's going to be late tonight. As you can see, your son wanted to stay up late.
Is he trying to do brake training?
Ted, I almost forgot.
What happened?
He sat up all by himself today.
For Pete's sake, I thought something had happened. He sat up by himself? Alone?
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Barton's baby next door is 7 months and hasn't even tried. She was green with envy when I told her. Wasn't she, Gerald?
Well, let's see him do it again.
Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I did put a pillow behind him. But it was only a little one, and I took it out for 1 whole minute. Of course, I didn't tell Mrs. Barton that.
Okay, Mom, I'll keep your secret. Come on, how about some food?
Okay, off we go. Come on.
I'll get it.
Mr. Miller?
Yes?
My name's Lila Bennett. May I come in?
Won't you sit down?
Thank you. You're wondering what I want, naturally. I'm a stranger to you. That is, not really. You see, I'm the baby's real mother.
How did you find out where the baby was?
Does it matter? Wasn't easy, but let's let it go at that.
Why have you come here?
I made a mistake when I gave up my baby, Mr. Miller. And I want him back.
You don't know what you're asking. My wife, well, this would be very hard on her. Can't we talk about this together tomorrow alone?
Nothing to talk about. I've come for my...
Ted? Oh, excuse me. I didn't know there was anyone here.
This isn't going to be easy, Joyce. Honey, this is Lila Bennett. She says she's Jerry's real mother.
Why have you come?
It's just like I told your husband. I want my baby back.
Just like that.
Oh, I know it isn't easy for you, and I'm sorry, but the baby's mine, and I want him back.
Jerry's mine. Just as if I'd born him.
Steady, Joyce. If you could only understand that walking in like this and asking us to give up our baby is quite a shock to us. After all, how do we know that you're the real mother?
Your lawyer has proof. Records, birth certificates. Anyway, you don't suppose I'd want a baby that wasn't mine. The adoption isn't final for another month. So, sorry, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Wait. Don't you see that all these months, almost from the minute he was born, he's been mine. He's never known anyone else. Why, he isn't even the kind of a baby who would go to strangers.
To call his mother a stranger?
I'm sorry, it's just that... Oh, please, don't do this awful thing to us.
If I could only make you understand, Joyce almost died trying to have her own baby. When for months she walked around hardly alive, and well, then our whole world opened up for us.
Of course I can understand. It's what I've been through for the past 5 months. No use prolonging this. I knew you'd want to talk with your lawyer, so you'll contact him tomorrow and we'll have him settle this whole thing. I'm sorry, Miss Miller.
You sure you won't change your mind?
Not a chance.
She didn't even ask to see the baby. Isn't that strange?
Very strange. Don't you worry, honey. We're not going to lose Jerry. I'll work it out with Gilbert somehow.
Mr. Miller, I had Lila Bennett here in this office for 3 hours this morning.
What happened?
Well, of course, you realize asking a mother to give up a baby...
She was ready a few months ago.
I know, but it's different now. But I finally convinced her that the best thing for her, as well as for you and Mrs. Miller, would be to leave town, go to another city, begin a new life. I used the angle that supporting a baby alone is a gigantic task.
Will she go?
Well, it all depends. What I suggest is going to cost money.
How much?
Enough to pay her transportation to an eastern city and time to get herself established.
Well, how much?
$2,000.
Well, if I pay her this money, how do I know she won't come back?
We'll make her give it to us in writing. Besides, the adoption's final in another month. You know, Mr. Miller, that isn't too much money to ask for a mother who's giving up her baby.
No, I guess it isn't, but $2,000 is more than I have in ready cash. It'll take me a few days to raise it.
Of course, I understand. Now, don't you worry about a thing. Leave everything to me.
Ted Miller was the one man in too many similar cases who had the courage to bring his plight to the attention of the Racket Squad. With his help, we were able to identify the girl who posed as Lila Bennett when she showed up at Gilbin's office the following morning. With one of our men on her trail, we found out where she lived. A search of her apartment disclosed some interesting facts.
She's known to the manager of the building as Lila Bennett. But here's a bank book on a Pittsburgh bank that's made out to Rita Vincent. And take a look at that picture.
Well, there's a girl you wouldn't dare take home to meet your father. Rita Vincent, Riverside Follies. It's our Lila Bennett, all right. Now, let's get the lowdown on Stanley Gilbin. I've got a hunch he came from Pennsylvania himself and sent for the Vincent girl just to make this killing. My hunch was right. Gilbin had been disbarred in the state of Pennsylvania and had moved westward for greener fields. Now, his miserable racket had made front-page news across the country. And Lila Bennett, the real mother of Ted and Joyce Miller's baby, reads the news, too. The newspaper account with its date of the baby's adoption told Lila Bennett the things she had been wanting to know. Where she could find her baby. To measure the depths of love between a real mother and one who has given as much as Joyce Miller would challenge the wisdom of Solomon. Yet here in a judge's private chambers, such a decision is about to be made.
You must all of you bear in mind that maternal instincts, justifiable indignation, or even true mother love must be set aside for this one mutual concern, the welfare of this baby. Lila, the thing you're asking for now, the right to keep your baby, you should have thought about many months ago.
But I was so frightened and confused and ashamed. I didn't want to make everyone I loved unhappy, so I ran away. Then I went to a nursing home, and somebody told me about that man Gilbin, that he could help me. I even talked to him the very last day about going home. But somehow I made it all seem so awful to do to my family.
Then you believe this man coerced you into signing your baby over for adoption?
Yes, I know now that he did. Believe me, deep down inside, I wanted to keep my baby more than anything else in this world.
Your Honor, I've loved Lila ever since we were kids together. It was always taken for granted that someday we'd be married. And I don't love her any less because of what's happened. We were married 3 weeks ago, as soon as I learned where she was.
Frank's going to buy a house as soon as we get back home, so the baby will have a good place to live.
But, Your Honor, you've got to understand. I've been Jerry's real mother. Why, Ted and I have given him all the love any parents could.
I'm certain you did. But it's only been months. There are years ahead. And I believe nature intended that mothers and babies should remain together. Therefore, it is my decision in this case that this baby be returned to its natural mother.
I'm so sorry. Come on, honey. Up we go. Come on.
He didn't even cry.
Come on, hon, let's go home.
It's all your fault. You thought more of $2,000 than you did of Jerry.
But Joyce, you don't understand.
All I understand is if that story had never broken in the papers, they wouldn't have taken my baby away from me.
But Joyce...
No, you stayed. I'm not going home.
Does this go too?
Yes, everything goes. And get it out of here as fast as you can.
Okay.
Operator, are you sure that number's been disconnected? Thank you.
Captain Braddock. Oh, hello, Mrs. Chandler. You can reach Mrs. Miller at her mother's house. I think I have the number right here. Oh, yes, it's Oakmont 423. That's right, she left him all right. I even tried to play Cupid myself, but no dice. I sure hope this baby works out.
I think it will, because this baby is just custom made for them. And I can be very convincing.
What are you doing?
Well, ask me. They told me to get everything back on the double.
Well, take it out again.
But, boss...
I said take it out.
Where are you going? Get that back as fast as you can.
But, lady...
Hurry.
Joyce, what's going on?
Well, we can't bring a baby into an empty house, and we're going to have a baby.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, this chair goes over here.
Oh, lady, you've got to be careful now. I don't get it.
Before we close the case of babies for sale, I'd like to add a word of warning. For those of you who wish to adopt a baby, your local licensed adoption bureau will do its utmost to help you. And there are many dependable lawyers who can arrange a private adoption. Don't take chances. Check your source of adoption carefully. And take your time. Otherwise, this could happen to you. Closing this case now, or rather the courts will, but there'll be others, because that's the way the world is built. Remember, there are people who can slap you on the back with one hand and pick your pocket with the other. And it could happen to you.